Evolving Perception of the Devil, A New History by Peter Stanford. The Devil, A New History by Peter Stanford is a comprehensive and insightful exploration of the devil's evolution in Western culture, tracing his journey from ancient mythology to modern interpretations. Stanford argues that the devil is not a static entity but a dynamic figure whose image and role have changed dramatically over time, reflecting the shifting anxieties and beliefs of each era. Part 1: The Devil's Origins. Ancient Roots. Stanford traces the devil's origins to ancient Mesopotamian mythology, where he was depicted as a chaotic and destructive force. He then explores the devil's presence in Greek and Roman mythology, where he was often associated with trickery and temptation. The Devil in the Bible. Stanford examines the devil's role in the Bible, highlighting his transformation from a fallen angel to a powerful adversary of God. He analyzes the different biblical accounts of the devil, including the temptation of Jesus and the Book of Revelation, which portrays a final battle between good and evil. Part 2: The Devil in the Middle Ages. The Rise of Satan. Stanford delves into the medieval period, a time when the devil's influence reached its peak. He explores the rise of demonology, the belief in the devil's power to tempt and torment humans, and the development of rituals and exorcisms to combat his influence. The Devil in Art and Literature. Stanford examines the devil's depiction in medieval art and literature, highlighting his grotesque and terrifying imagery. He analyzes the role of the devil in plays, poems, and religious texts, exploring how he was used to reinforce moral teachings and instill fear in the faithful. Part 3: The Devil in the Renaissance and Enlightenment. The Devil's Decline. Stanford explores the Renaissance and Enlightenment periods, a time when the devil's influence began to wane. He examines the rise of humanism and rationalism, which challenged traditional beliefs in the devil's power. The Devil in Literature and Philosophy. Stanford analyzes the devil's depiction in Renaissance and Enlightenment literature, highlighting his transformation from a literal figure of evil to a more abstract symbol of temptation and human weakness. Part 4: The Devil in the Modern Era. The Devil in Popular Culture. Stanford examines the devil's continued presence in modern culture, exploring his depiction in movies, television, and music. He analyzes the ways in which the devil has been reinterpreted and reimagined to reflect contemporary anxieties and concerns. The Devil's Legacy. Stanford concludes by reflecting on the devil's enduring legacy, arguing that he remains a powerful symbol of evil, temptation, and the darker aspects of human nature. Key themes. The devil as a reflection of society. Stanford emphasizes that the devil's image and role have always been shaped by the beliefs and anxieties of the time. The devil's evolving nature. He argues that the devil is not a static entity but a dynamic figure whose image and role have changed dramatically over time. The devil's enduring power. Stanford concludes that the devil remains a powerful symbol of evil, temptation, and the darker aspects of human nature, even in the modern era. Overall, The Devil, A New History is a comprehensive and engaging exploration of the devil's evolution in Western culture. It's a thought-provoking and insightful account of how the devil has been used to reflect, reinforce, and challenge our beliefs about good and evil. According to The Devil, A New History by Peter Stanford, the devil's evolving depiction over time was influenced by a complex interplay of factors, including 1. Shifting religious beliefs and interpretations. Early Christianity. The devil was initially seen as a fallen angel, a powerful adversary of God, but his role and attributes were debated among early Christian theologians. Medieval period. The rise of demonology and the focus on the devil's power to tempt and torment humans solidified his image as a grotesque and terrifying figure. Renaissance and Enlightenment. The rise of humanism and rationalism challenged traditional beliefs in the devil's power, leading to a more abstract and symbolic representation of evil. 2. Social and political events. The Black Death. The devastating plague of the 14th century fueled anxieties about divine punishment and the devil's role in spreading disease. The Reformation. The Protestant Reformation challenged the authority of the Catholic Church, leading to new interpretations of the devil and his role in salvation. The Enlightenment. The rise of scientific thought and reason challenged traditional beliefs in the supernatural, leading to a decline in the devil's influence. 3. Artistic and literary trends. Medieval art. The devil was often depicted in grotesque and terrifying ways, emphasizing his power and the dangers of temptation. Renaissance art. The devil's image became more humanized and less monstrous, reflecting a shift in artistic and philosophical perspectives. Modern literature. The devil has been reinterpreted and reimagined in modern literature, often as a symbol of temptation, ambition, and the darker aspects of human nature. 4. Cultural anxieties and fears. Fear of the unknown. The devil has often been used to explain the unknown and the inexplicable, representing the forces of chaos and disorder. Fear of the other, the devil has been used to demonize those who are different or outside the mainstream, reinforcing social and political hierarchies. Fear of sin and temptation, the devil has served as a reminder of the dangers of sin and temptation, encouraging moral behavior and obedience to religious authority. 5. The rise of popular culture. Movies and television, the devil has been a popular figure in modern media, often depicted as a charismatic and seductive figure, reflecting contemporary anxieties about power and corruption. Music, the devil has been a recurring theme in popular music, often associated with rebellion, transgression, and the pursuit of pleasure. Overall, the devil's evolving depiction is a reflection of the ever-changing beliefs, anxieties, and cultural trends of each era. He serves as a powerful symbol of the darker aspects of human nature, reflecting our fears, desires, and aspirations. The rise of humanism and rationalism during the Renaissance and Enlightenment played a pivotal role in shifting the symbolic representation of the devil. Here's how. From literal to symbolic, humanism, with its focus on human potential and reason, challenged the medieval view of the devil as a literal, powerful entity that actively interfered in human affairs. Instead, the devil became more of a symbolic representation of human flaws, weaknesses, and temptations. He was no longer seen as an external force but as an internal struggle within the individual. Emphasis on human agency, rationalism, with its emphasis on logic and reason, further undermined the devil's power. Instead of being seen as a force that could easily manipulate people, the devil became a figure that could be resisted through reason and self-control. This shift placed more emphasis on human agency and responsibility for one's own actions. From grotesque to sophisticated, the devil's depiction in art and literature reflected the shift. Instead of grotesque and terrifying imagery, he began to be portrayed as a more sophisticated and alluring figure, often associated with temptation, ambition, and the pursuit of pleasure. This reflected a growing awareness of the complexities of human nature and the internal struggles that individuals face. From fear to fascination, the devil, once a source of fear and terror, became an object of fascination and debate. Philosophers and writers explored the nature of good and evil, questioning the traditional view of the devil as an embodiment of absolute evil. This intellectual engagement with the devil led to a more nuanced understanding of his symbolic significance. From external threat to internal struggle, the devil's role shifted from being an external threat to being an internal struggle within the individual. This change reflected a growing understanding of the complexities of human psychology and the internal conflicts that individuals face in their pursuit of knowledge, power, and fulfillment. In essence, the rise of humanism and rationalism during the Renaissance and Enlightenment led to a more sophisticated and nuanced understanding of the devil. He was no longer seen as a literal, external force but as a symbolic representation of human flaws, temptations, and the internal struggles that individuals face in their pursuit of knowledge, power, and fulfillment. This shift in perspective paved the way for the devil's continued evolution in modern culture, where he continues to be a fascinating and complex figure, reflecting our ongoing struggle with the darker aspects of human nature. The Devil, A New History by Peter Stanford skillfully situates the devil's role within the broader context of Western religious and cultural history, demonstrating how the figure of the devil has been a powerful, evolving symbol that reflects the changing anxieties and beliefs of each era. Here's how. 1. The devil as a mirror of societal fears. Ancient origins. Stanford traces the devil's origins to ancient Mesopotamia, where he represented chaos and destruction, mirroring the fear of the unknown and the forces of nature. This early portrayal reflects a primal anxiety about the unpredictable forces that could disrupt order. Medieval transformation. In the Middle Ages, the devil transformed into a more personal threat, capable of tempting individuals and causing widespread societal upheaval. This shift reflected the anxieties of a time marked by plagues, wars, and social instability. Modern reinterpretations. Stanford argues that the devil's image and role have continued to evolve in modern times, reflecting anxieties about technology, globalization, and the loss of traditional values. He points to the devil's portrayal in popular culture as a symbol of temptation, corruption, and the darker aspects of human nature. 2. The devil as a catalyst for religious and moral discourse. Biblical foundation. Stanford emphasizes the devil's role in the Bible as a powerful adversary of God, a figure who challenges humanity's faith and tests their commitment to righteousness. This biblical foundation provided a framework for religious discourse about good and evil, sin and redemption. Medieval emphasis on sin and temptation. During the Middle Ages, the devil became a central figure in moral teachings, used to highlight the dangers of sin and the importance of resisting temptation. This emphasis on the devil's power to corrupt and deceive reinforced the Church's authority and moral teachings. Modern reinterpretations of morality. In the modern era, the devil's role in moral discourse has become more nuanced, reflecting a shift in understanding of good and evil. He is often portrayed as a symbol of human weakness and the temptations that arise from our own desires, rather than a literal force of evil. 3. The devil as a symbol of human nature. The devil is a reflection of ourselves. Stanford argues that the devil is ultimately a reflection of our own fears, desires, and weaknesses. He represents the darker aspects of human nature, the temptation to succumb to sin, and the struggle between good and evil within each of us. The devil is a catalyst for self-reflection. The devil's presence in religious and cultural discourse has prompted individuals to examine their own motivations, choices, and the potential for both good and evil within themselves. In conclusion, the devil, a new history demonstrates that the devil is not just a mythological figure but a powerful symbol that has played a significant role in shaping Western religious and cultural history. By understanding the devil's evolution, we gain a deeper understanding of the anxieties, beliefs, and moral struggles that have shaped our world. The devil, as a potent symbol of temptation and evil, has been a recurring figure in literature, serving as a powerful literary device to explore moral dilemmas and the complexities of human nature. Here are some examples. 1. The Master and Margarita by Mikhail Bulgakov. Moral ambiguity. Bulgakov's novel uses the devil, in the form of the charismatic and enigmatic Woland, to challenge traditional notions of good and evil. Woland's presence in Moscow disrupts the status quo and exposes the hypocrisy and moral failings of those who claim to be righteous. The struggle for the soul. The novel explores the struggle for the soul of the protagonist, the Master, who is tempted by Woland's offer of escape from his suffering. This struggle highlights the complexities of moral choices and the allure of power and escape. The devil as a catalyst for self-reflection. Woland's presence forces characters to confront their own inner demons and the compromises they have made in their pursuit of worldly success. The novel ultimately suggests that true morality lies in resisting temptation and maintaining one's integrity even in the face of adversity. 2. The Picture of Dorian Gray by Oscar Wilde. The temptation of beauty. The devil, represented by Lord Henry Wotton, tempts Dorian Gray with the allure of beauty and pleasure, leading him down a path of self-destruction. The novel explores the seductive power of vanity and the corrupting influence of hedonism. The Price of Immorality. Dorian's pact with the devil, which allows him to remain eternally youthful while his portrait bears the burden of his sins, highlights the consequences of moral compromise and the ultimate price of immortality without virtue. The devil as a symbol of self-deception. Lord Henry's influence represents the seductive power of self-deception and the ease with which individuals can rationalize their actions to avoid confronting their own moral failings. 3. The Devil's Advocate by Andrew Niederman. The Faustian Bargain. The novel explores the classic Faustian bargain, in which a character makes a deal with the devil in exchange for worldly success. This bargain highlights the allure of power and the potential consequences of sacrificing one's principles for personal gain. The Nature of Evil. The devil, represented by the charismatic and manipulative Kevin Lomax, is not a traditional, horned figure but a sophisticated and seductive embodiment of evil. This portrayal challenges the simplistic view of evil and suggests that it can manifest in subtle and insidious ways. The Struggle for Redemption. The novel explores the protagonist's struggle to redeem himself after making a deal with the devil. This struggle highlights the potential for redemption even after succumbing to temptation and the importance of confronting one's own moral failings. 4. The Exorcist by William Peter Blatty. The Power of Evil. The novel explores the terrifying power of evil, represented by the demon Pazuzu, who possesses a young girl and wreaks havoc on those around her. This exploration highlights the vulnerability of individuals to external forces and the potential for evil to manifest in unexpected ways. The Struggle for Faith. The novel explores the struggle for faith in the face of overwhelming evil. The character's attempts to exorcise the demon highlight the importance of belief and the power of prayer in confronting the forces of darkness. The devil as a symbol of inner turmoil. The demon's possession of the young girl can be interpreted as a metaphor for the inner turmoil and psychological struggles that individuals face. This interpretation suggests that the devil can represent the darker aspects of our own psyches and the potential for internal conflict. These examples demonstrate how the devil, as a literary device, can be used to explore complex moral dilemmas, challenge traditional notions of good and evil, and delve into the darker aspects of human nature. The devil's presence in literature often serves as a catalyst for self-reflection and forces characters to confront their own moral choices and the consequences of their actions.